Hello, all you folks out there in YouTube land. I am Sanji Himura. I'd like to thank you for watching the W2 Report live. Double whammy. We got a Wendy's 2-for-1 special of stories for you to cover today. So let's turn it over into our ground rules. Rule 1: do not
Don't
be
be a
stupid.
dick. Rule 2: if you have a problem, if in doubt, look to rule number 1. Do not contact. Do not. That includes being silly at people in the chat, on the live stream itself, or in the comments or over on Trigger afterwards. Just don't contact these people.
No,
Just
no.
don't do it. If you are found to be an ass, you will be treated appropriately.
So with that said, let us say hello to Lord Cracker Squirrel with today's meme. We're gonna avert our eyes because it's a flashcard.
Oh, a flashcard.
So let's get into our first story of the day, which is Outriders. Jim Sterling said some things about why he's refunding the game, which I won't go into. You can watch his video on YouTube if you want to see it.
Actually, his reason for refunding the game is very simple. It boils down to a few words. You said don't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Your servers are crap. Your game is crap. It's just all crap.
Mm-hmm.
The same, and we are apparently having similar problems on Steam because the prologue's like 2 hours long, and for some completely unknown, unknowable reason, that's exactly the length of time it takes for you not to be able to get your money back. And then you find out that it's freaking broken. Yeah, okay. Server issues. Yay! And of course, the game must always be online, even if you're playing in solo mode. Because why the fuck would it not be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't buy that at any price. I agree with Jim. For once in years, I agree with Jim. Don't buy it. Just don't.
No, and as we say goodbye to the meme today, so what sorts of issues are users encountering on Outriders?
Actually, it seems to depend a little bit on the platform. For PlayStation 5, the servers are down more than they're up. If you can find a game, you're going to get booted before it's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's just at some point you get to the why bother. You get to the point of why bother. Don't do it. It's not worth it at this point. PlayStation 4 is apparently having similar issues, although the uptime seems to be slightly better. Steam is having those same issues plus the 2 hour restriction. Xbox One S has been, the Series X and S. Yeah, apparently it runs like crap on the Series S, as well as Xbox One and PS4. The servers are up more, but the game isn't designed for that. It's designed it's designed more or less for an updated computer or a next gen console, and the Xbox One or the Xbox Series S, not the X, the S.
Mm-hmm.
It's about it in terms of power. It's about halfway in between the Series X and the Xbox One. So, yeah, that's a problem. It's still a fairly powerful machine. It just doesn't do all the things the S can do, or the X can do. Not the S. Why did Microsoft use that naming convention? It makes me want to beat them with a stick. Exactly. A very long stick.
Exactly. It does want to make me want to beat them with a stick too, because actually no, it doesn't do that. It doesn't do quite that yet. It makes me want to beat them over the head with a hammer.
Yeah, no, I like my stick better. Because I can't because I couldn't hang your junk off at the end of a hammer. I'd have to lay it out on their foreheads first. I don't want to do that.
Right. um.
Mad Pants today.
Ooh.
Doom, doom, doom. Okay, so yeah, Outriders is as a game, it's hot garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you could disable the server connection, it's by itself just hot garbage.
Yeah.
Um,
And
it seems to be generally it appears to be a generally unplayable mess on a good day, and those good days are apparently very few and far between.
And Square Enix needs to be ashamed of themselves because of this.
Yes, absolutely. They need to they need to do that that shame walk that happened on Game of Thrones. Just run all the execs, the board members, and all of the major shareholders down a narrow street, stripped naked, with people throwing fruit and yelling shame. Why did you do this, Squeenix? We had so much faith in you. I'm heartbroken.
Actually, believe it or not, I lost faith in them because of the Marvel Avengers thing.
I didn't actually look into the Marvel Avengers thing. I heard it was crap and decided that it wasn't worth it. Outriders has been in my face for 6 months.
Ugh, shame. Absolute shame.
Okay. I first heard about it long before release. They released, and the worst part of it is, they released it on the 1st of April. And then it turned out to be a complete joke.
Uh-huh.
A complete joke that people paid money for.
Yeah, $60.
They claim it's not. The sad part is they claim it's not your average looter shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Your average cover-based looter shooter. Guess what? It is. It's a cover-based looter shooter. It wants to be Doom and can't be.
Mm-hmm. And it wants to be Destiny, but it can't be.
Saying that it's intimating that it's worse than Destiny is really saying something here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because Bungie, when they put that out, they done fucked up. Seriously.
Right.
They screwed that pooch so hard, the poor thing never saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we got Anthem. And yeah, now the pooch has been split in half and is lying there whimpering. Followed immediately by Outriders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, nearly immediately by Outriders. We had a year or so for Anthem to die, and now we have Outriders. And the poor pooch was actually on guard this time. Or at least some of it was. And the damage wasn't quite so severe. Mostly because the pooch took off at superluminal velocities. Just poof.
Right.
That pooch is now over on the far end of the observable universe. It wanted no part of this, or to be anywhere near the gaming industry. The AAA gaming industry is gone to shit, and they need to be ashamed of themselves.
I'm honestly surprised at this point that Final Fantasy VI is not an MMO.
16? No,
Yeah,
they've
16.
they've got 14. They won't do it. They probably won't do another MMO. Let's see. If I had to guess, I'd probably say Final Fantasy 18 will be the next MMO. Might be 17 because we got Final Fantasy 11, we got 12, 13, 13-2, and Lightning Returns, and then we got Final Fantasy 14, which had to be rebuilt. 15 and 16, we're going to do okay with 15 and 16, and it'll be either 17 or 18 for another Squeenix MMO, and it'll almost certainly be Final Fantasy.
And
If it is not, it's not impossible at this point that they will try and build a Dragon Quest based MMO for the West. Dragon Quest X, in case any of you were wondering, was a Japan only MMO. That actually, believe it or not, for Kidlet accounts, gave them a couple of hours a day to play during non-school hours. Speaking of games that have gone stupid, let's talk Pokemon Go for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, recently they introduced this thing called Pokemon Eggs. They're little presents. The Pokemon Company tells us.
But don't tell me it's loot boxes.
Oh, hell yeah, it's loot boxes. It's loot boxes beyond belief. The sad part of it is just as brazen as PES soccer. Or
FIFA.
Or a FIFA, or NBA 2K, what the fuck ever it is this time. Okay, it's the same kind of shit, and what's in those is reportedly completely random.
We know
But
that
again, we're dealing in surprise mechanics, says EA, as EA likes to refer to them. So what's the problem? The problem is that kind of the behavior that we're looking at is addictive in the extreme, and you can't be doing that shit. Especially not when you're dealing in small children or your primary players. But you're also dealing in adults that have gambling issues. Don't do this. As a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, the loot box can be regulated into non-existence, fucking die like it was never there. Unfortunately, at this point, folks like Blizzard, Red Overwatch, they're making more than half of their revenue off of this shit. And actually, I blame Blizzard. They're the ones that actually popularized the idea.
Right.
Again, Overwatch. And it's a grind and a half to get more of it. Star Wars Battlefront 2, made by Electronic Arts, that shit went way overboard and off the fucking deep end.
Exactly.
And now that I've completely derailed the thing, you had comments.
Yes, I did. You know what? I actually forgot what I actually forgotten. I should have taken notes while you were doing the rant.
Damn it, Sanji! What did I tell you about pen and paper?
Get some.
Yes, I did say that. In fact, I told you that yesterday. Get some. Do it now. You fail. I award you 20 points. You fail.
I was going to say that later on in the show today, we're going to talk Days Gone and why John Gavin is being a stupid head.
Actually, you know what? Why wait for later? Why not do it now? Let's do it now. I want to do that now. John Gavin said a thing. Why don't you tell us what John Gavin said?
He said, quote, in an interview with game designer David Jaff, I should apologize for that. He says, I do have an opinion on something that your audience may find of interest, and it might piss some of them off. If you love a game, buy it at full fucking price. I can't tell you how many times I've seen gamers say, yeah, I got that on sale, got it through PS Plus, whatever. He goes on to say, but how do you know, Jeff said in response, how do you know you will love a game until you played it? I'm just saying, you don't, but don't complain if a game doesn't get a sequel if it wasn't supported at launch.
Ooh, at launch, he says. At launch. Haha. Anyway, is there more of that quote, or can I go nuts now?
It's like God of War got whatever number of millions of sales at launch, and Days Gone didn't. I'm just speaking for me personally as a developer. I don't work for Sony. I don't know what the numbers are. I should stress to all of this is that John Garvin is
he was the brain pan that was in charge of he was the leaky brain pan in charge of the Siphon Filter series.
and not only that, he is formerly of Sony Studio Bend Studio, because he said according to the byline here, his departure from Bend Studio was based on personality, not performance.
Well, I can see how that would work. Yeah, with personality. Let's go there, shall we? First off, attacking your customer base, not a good plan there, Johnny boy.
And it's no wonder why Days Gone is the leading game on PS Plus this month.
Ooh, is it on PlayStation Plus this month?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I should go do that just to piss the little bastard off. Now, just to give you let's drop a couple of bombs here on you, buddy.
Okay.
First off, pissing off your player base is not a way to make friends and influence people. That's just a way to piss off everybody. And to be honest, if you hadn't made a shit game, worse, it was a Dynasty Warriors clone with zombies and motorcycles. Because that's exactly what I saw. It looked cool. It looks better if you like that sort of middling gray-brown atmosphere and, everybody being dirty. Sure, we'll go there. We're okay with that. But you know what? If you hadn't made a shit game, you probably would have had more support at launch. When I saw the E3 trailer, I'm going, so what? It held no interest for me. Some people, the audience went ooh and ah, and yes, our big technology push right there is the number of zombies on the screen. Right? Do I give a shit? Why do I care? Why am I in a position to give a single solitary fuck about the number of zombies on the screen? It's just that many more claws that they're going to try and get into me. I don't want that. I had a hard enough time keeping track of all the zombies in Resident Evil. Okay. Okay. Let's just make that worse. So now you have an audience, some of which actually likes Dynasty Warriors or Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and then you not only creep those people out and piss them off by duplicating the formula, you creep out everybody else. The people that don't like zombie games, they're not going to buy your shit anyway. And even if they were going to consider it on a dare, they probably wouldn't because too many fucking zombies on board. How many rounds can you put in that gun? Answer, not enough to deal with that crowd over there. Okay, you put 400 zombies on the screen. Yippee. That's a tech demo.
Yeah.
The Gorab tech demo.
Yeah, especially since Mr. Ben Studio doesn't wanna say what do you have in addition to a glorified tech demo. It's no wonder why Days Gone didn't get a sequel.
Days Gone didn't need a sequel. If I'm being honest, Days Gone doesn't need one. It was pretty much complete. It was, as far as I was concerned, and from what footage I actually managed to put my hands on, especially at the end of the game, it seemed like it wrapped up. It seemed like they managed to wrap it up okay. Probably about the only thing in the game they did right. They gave the game a wrap that doesn't actually require a sequel. It leaves the door open. It doesn't require a sequel. And unless you leave them on this total cliffhanger that makes them want a sequel, yeah, no, they're going to consider it done. You don't get to work on your fun sequel. You have to work on on a remaster of The Last of Us because you fucked up. I can see why you left as a. I can honestly see why it is that you
left.
that you wound up having to leave Ben's studio.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it. Because frankly, I wouldn't want you with that attitude. In fact, attacking the user base is absolutely a way to get fired in my book.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Gavin got fired, not let go.
Well, he may have left because of he may have left under his own power or been asked to resign because, well, apparently he's the kind of dick we don't want in the chat. Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Not only are you going to attack the fans, you're going to use colorful metaphors on top of it.
Yeah.
I mean, why?
Why?
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Why are you getting yourself blacklisted from the gaming industry?
Even if he doesn't get blacklisted, the customers aren't going to help. In fact, the sad part of it is you worked on Siphon Filter. You actually worked for Sony Studio directly. And there is absolutely zero reason that you don't know this shit already. I'm telling you things you already fracking know. And if you don't know, I don't know what happened. And it is certainly not my fault that you're being a shit. But you're going to blame me for not buying a copy of Days Gone when it didn't interest me in the first place. Didn't interest anybody didn't even interest anybody I know. Everybody's like, yeah, nah, fam, we're not doing this.
Right.
Oh yeah, Days Gone, Zombie Army 4, Dead War. And actually, I saw now that I'm looking at the PlayStation Store, the PSN Plus store, PS4 section. I looked at it. I looked at it the first part of the month. I said, Days Gone and Zombie Army 4. Nah, fam. I'm not even going to cash in. Guess what? Now I'm going to. And here before too awful damn long, I'll probably show it to my audience over on my channel. Why? Just to stick this thing up your ass. You didn't get the support you wanted at launch because you made a pile of shit. Mm-hmm. And even then, the current retail price for it on PlayStation on PS4 is $40. That wasn't its launch price. That's what Sony thinks it's worth. It launched at $60. It's $40 now. Game hasn't even been out for a fracking year.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was dead on arrival.
I don't know what the sales numbers look like for Days Gone. He should know, especially this far out. But if he's going to compare the performance of Days Gone to the performance of God of War,
Yeah,
the original God of War was a gore fest, and it was newish and interesting at the time. This is a retread. This is every post-apocalyptic. This is every post-apocalyptic zombie game ever, just with more zombies.
And why? Because it's a freaking tech demo.
They wanted to see how they really I think all they really wanted to do was see how far they could push the PS4, because it probably looks better on PS5, if there's even a version for PS5, and there at least should be. It may have actually been intended for PS5. They made the PS4 version so they had something to work from. Because apparently the technology is similar enough that they can do that on almost every game that was made. In fact, the update function, there was a list of like 10 games that the update function wouldn't work on, and they wouldn't function on PS5. 10 games, and all of them from the very early part of things.
Right.
The early days of the PS4. So 10 whole games.
That's an average. That's a rate of what, 99.9%?
Something like that.
Do work?
I'm not 100% sure how many games were actually released for the PlayStation 4. I could dig that number up from somewhere, and I'm not worried about it right now. But that is definitely the number is definitely overwhelming.
Right.
I mean, we could do that. It's not that hard. But there are several hundred games for the PS4. Not including oh crap, that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on a sec. I can actually get you a number in just a second.
Well, that's notwithstanding digital numbers anyway.
Well, no, this is actually the total. We're looking for the total number of games that were released for the PS4 at all.
Okay, give me a second here.
Ooh, it actually doesn't. I thought the PlayStation Store would actually tell me. Games, content type games, 3,656.
What was that number again?
3,656.
That's actually 0.2
percent.
Yeah, that do not work on the system.
Yeah, that can't actually be upgraded.
Mm-hmm. Because if we really look at what he said, he's comparing this to God of War 4, not God of War 1. And even if we do make that stretch that he was talking about God of War 1, is it little wonder why he left the company?
Because I'd have told it. My, you know what I'd have said to the guy? Doors on your left. Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah, I would have actually fired him.
Okay, you don't do this shit.
No, you don't.
You can be rude. You can be rude. You can use colorful language. Don't actually care about that. Hell no, I dare complain about that. I dare not complain about colorful language.
Mm-hmm.
I use it myself. I've used it during this live stream. Don't fucker. But the one thing you don't do is attack the customer base.
Exactly.
They may not always be right. Just don't go savage them because you didn't get the thing you wanted. You know what that is? That's a 5-year-old throwing a fucking tantrum.
Right.
You're old enough to know better, dipshit.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, if you want to come get me, Johnny boy, bring it. I will not be stepping back on it. And if you want an apology, you can get fucked.
Well, if he comes after this video, I will most certainly fight this.
That's just it. I don't think he'd have grounds to come after the video. We're not using footage of the game. No
Right.
footage, no music, no nothing else. We're just talking about what an asswipe he is.
Well, Sony in the past has come after people for just talking about The Last of Us Part 2.
Well,
So
yeah,
people
that violate embargoes, they have difficulties too. At some point, however, their defenses in this regard kind of go away. And they can make their argument all they want. It's not going to change. It's not really going to change reality. All that once the leak happened, that information was out on the internet, and there was nothing to be done for it.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the only thing you can do at that point is damage control. John, on the other hand, he said a thing, and yeah, a bunch of people are pissed off. Not surprised. I'm surprised. What surprises me more is the cancel lights haven't gotten him.
Well, he's probably on the right side of politics, so
ultimately, if you make a thing that looks like it's going to be any good, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine. And if he would have worked on Days Gone a little bit longer, it made a better quality product. Maybe Sony would have greenlit the sequel. No questions asked.
Because they got enough sales because they got enough sales on the front end. Honestly, though, really, I think it was a matter of. I haven't looked at the game, but I'd be willing to bet that there were some design choices that were less than ideal. And substantially less than ideal. All right, they were probably fucking moronic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know for sure, but that's based on what I do know of the game, that's probably where it comes from. Make stupid choices with stupid prices. Simple. It really is. And if you've made the wrong choices if you made the wrong choice, too many wrong choices, and people are just going to not bother. But again, we're talking about a tech demo. A tech demo for a system that is already 7 years old and down near the end of its lifespan.
Right. It was already out the door anyway.
Okay. If you were doing a PS4 version so you could knock people's socks off with the PS5 hasn't been out a year yet. You still have an opportunity to do this tech demo for that. But then people would have called it a tech demo.
And that's really what got under Gavin's claw. Garvin's claw crawl at the end of the day. Because it panned as a game, and if they tried to call it a tech demo, they would call it out for bullshit.
Well, see, here's the other side of it. I've actually went back and looked at some of the reviews. They say it really starts to come together about 10 hours in. You don't have 10 hours. One.
Go ahead.
Tops.
Yeah.
You have got to grab their attention, yank it hard, and then tie it to something. Preferably something large, heavy, and sturdy. If you can't do that in the first hour, nobody's going to give a shit.
Right. Exactly.
I watched 30 seconds of in-game footage. Actually, it was 3 minutes, believe it or not. That the E3 announcement demo. That announcement trailer they did with the gameplay and stuff. Yeah. I watched that. And I went, ugh. Tech demo. Dynasty Warriors ripoff. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
And then it was not as success. It didn't sell. It didn't move nearly as many units as Sony wanted it to. So yeah, the first game out in a franchise is always the riskiest, and you have to accept that. Not throw your toys out of the pram because you don't get to make another one. And instead get assigned a game to remaster a game that's it's not even a decade old. And still looks good, and it's actually aged pretty well. I mean, you're not David.
Two, of course, but
well, The Last of Us 2 is. Don't even get me started. I did actually get an opportunity to play the game. Friend of mine bought it on disc for like $5 out of a GameStop or something, or off the back of a truck, or I don't even know. Don't care. I got a chance to fire it up and play it, and within about 20 minutes, I dumped it. I dumped it right off my hard drive. It's a waste of space. Not to mention the 3 hours it took to download. Why for, Sony, do you need that much space?
Yeah.
So I wasted 3 hours of my time to play a game for half an hour or less before shutting it off and deleting it and giving the guy his disc back. All of that happened inside. From the time I fired it up to the time he got his disc back was less than an hour.
Wow.
Not worth it. 20 minutes of that was driving to his house. I live in an outlying area from the city that we're associated with, and I just drive clear into town to give it back. So yeah, that's it. Not worth it. Right. So I think that's about what we had to cover today. Am I right?
That is correct. If you would leave a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. If not, well, you know what to do. Leave a comment and do all the things that make the YouTube algorithm happy.
Well, just kind of feed the algorithm and not the trolls, okay?
Yeah, feed the algorithm, not the trolls. And with that, I am Sanji Imura. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'd like to thank you, Croc, for joining us this week. There should be a W2 report next week, but
we're not clear on what that's going to be about that just yet.
Yeah. Details will come out by Wednesday, I believe.
And yes, people, I swear I will not. I will get the word whammy out of his freaking vocabulary between now and then.
All right, I will see you guys soon. See ya.
See ya.